What if I told you Lamborghini's latest supercar is faster, stronger, and more techy than anything else in its segment? But some say it's too tame, too pricey, and not crazy enough. Meet the new baby of the brand, the Temerario, Lamborghini's reckless replacement for the iconic Huracán. We're talking close to 1,000 horses under the hood, a V8 with 3 electric motors, and a bike that hits 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Sounds like the future. But does all that tech dilute that raw Lambo soul? And can it live up to the legend of the Huracán? Hit subscribe, share this video, and let's find out together. Before we get into all the numbers and stuff, we can't ignore the massive legacy this car has to live up to. The Lamborghini Temerario has one hell of a job here, because it's replacing the Huracán, Lambo's best-selling two-door ever, with over 29,000 cars sold in just over a decade. The Gallardo, before it only managed half of that, with around 14,000. Yeah, no pressure. Lamborghini knew they had to come up with something next level. And they did. Instead of just sticking another V10 in it, they gave it a new hybrid setup, new engine, new chassis, new everything. And the name Temerario, which is Italian for reckless or fearless, is honestly a perfect fit. Here's why. Under the skin sits a blockbusting 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 with a flat-plane crank that revs to 10,000 RPM and 10,250 RPM if you're launching it. On its own, it makes 789 horsepower and 538 pound-feet of torque. That's impressive already. But then, Lamborghini bolted on 3 electric motors, one at the back between the V8 and the 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox, and 2 up front on the E-axle. That pushes the total to 920 CV, which translates to about 907 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. That's hypercar territory and only 94 horses shy of the Revuelto, which is wild, because this is supposed to be the entry-level Lambo. The genius part is how it all works together. The turbos don't really wake up until 4,000 RPM. That's where the rear motor fills in the torque gap between shifts, so power delivery feels instant. At the same time, the front motors don't just add horsepower. They handle torque vectoring, sharpen the steering, and literally shape how this car feels. And the numbers back it up big time. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.7 seconds. 0 to 200 in 7.1 seconds, and a top speed of 343 kilometers per hour or 213 miles per hour. Even if the 3.8 kilowatt-hour battery runs dry, you've still got nearly 800 horses to play with. The battery calls itself home right in the center tunnel. It recharges on the go, through regenerative braking or off the engine, but you can also plug it in. It has a 7 kilowatt onboard charger, so you get a full charge in 30 minutes on standard current. It even has an EV-only mode with about 5 miles of silent front-wheel drive. The tech list of this car is crazy complex. Titanium rods, motorsport pistons, a hot V turbo setup, brake-by-wire, 10-piston calipers, and even DLC-coded finger followers. The Temerario is Lamborghini's second hybrid ever, after the Revuelto, and it's tuned to feel natural, fluid, and incredibly responsive, not video game artificial. And check this out. On average, most modern supercars have 4 to 5 driving modes. Hypercars push it closer to 6 or 7. Ladies and gentlemen, the Temerario has 13 of them, plus launch control and a 3-level drift mode as a cherry on top. It may not be as raw and terrifying as a McLaren 750S or a Ferrari 296 GTB, but the Temerario does it all, while staying a bit more approachable. Power is one thing, but tell me in the comments, do you think the exterior matches what's under the hood? While you think about it, let's take a closer look at the styling. The Temerario might be a brand new design, but despite taking things in a fresh direction, you can still spot the family DNA a mile away. The Huracán was already one of Lambo's best-looking cars ever, but the Temerario isn't trying to copy it. Up front, the classic shark nose with a sharp lower lip is back. But this time, it's cleaner and less in your face than some other supercars. Under the headlights, there are these hexagonal DRLs. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll get this right away. Those were inspired by the Death Star hangar bay. Interestingly, those DRLs have little cooling inlets right in the middle, and from there, the aero takes over. The front channels air for downforce and brake cooling. Along the sides, those huge intakes feed air straight into the twin-turbo V8 hybrid. If you look closer, the roof actually dips inward, guiding airflow straight over the exposed engine and down to the spoiler. And then, around the back, the story explodes. A protruded rear diffuser, hexagonal taillights, hexagonal vents, and a high-mounted hexagonal exhaust right in the center. If Lamborghini had a favorite shape, I think we all know what it is. Compared to the Huracán, Lamborghini also stretched the wheelbase by 1.6 inches and raised the roofline a little bit. Doesn't sound dramatic, but it makes a big difference, especially for taller drivers. Like the Allegorita package, and the Temerario gets seriously spicy. Carbon splitters, bigger side skirts, a bolder rear hatch, carbon wheels, and a track-style spoiler. Weight savings are only about 30 kilos with the Allegorita kit. But the aero gains are insane. 67% more downforce and 62% better efficiency than the Huracán. And that's just the outside story. Inside the Temerario, they cooked up a cabin that's bigger, smarter, and sharper than the Huracán's. Thanks to a new all-aluminum chassis, the cabin has stretched in every direction. Headroom is up by 1.3 inches, legroom by 1.8, and Lambo even says there's enough space to fit a driver up to 6 feet 5 with a helmet on. That's a serious upgrade over the Huracán. Design-wise, there's definitely some Revuelto flavor, but it still has its own vibe. The driver's seat, 18-way adjustable, heated and ventilated. You can also swap in the optional manual bucket seats, which drop you lower and free up even more space for taller drivers. Now, here's where the game really changes. The tech. Lambo calls this their most advanced infotainment setup ever. 3 digital displays dominate the dash. A 12.3-inch instrument cluster with 3 different layouts. An 8.4-inch central screen for all your controls, and a 9.1-inch passenger display. The whole standard kit is baked in. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a premium Sonos Faber audio system. But the real star is this, the Lamborghini Vision Unit. This fresh system uses 3 cameras, one on the road, one watching the cabin, and one over the driver's shoulder. Mix that with real-time performance data and 150 preloaded racetracks from around the world. And the Temerario turns into your driving coach. What makes it even sweeter? The system also works as a dashcam, storing up to 1 minute of on-track action. Or hit record and capture 2 minutes of pure driving memories. In the end, The Temerario is one of those cars that gets more interesting the deeper you look. It's super complex, technical, and packed with that naughtiness one would expect from a Lamborghini. Is the Temerario better than the past V10 Huracans? I'll leave that up to you. But pulling off a hybrid twin-turbo V8 in this era of tight regulations, that's some engineering worth clapping for. If you enjoyed the Temerario, don't forget to hit like, share this video, and subscribe for more deep dives. Until then, keep rolling.